Hey guys, Jason Schappert back with you. 3.6, Private Pilot Lesson 3.6, Radio Communications in the Traffic Pattern. I've got some great clips I want to share with you, and I want to work you through the traffic pattern. My goal by the end of this video is we've now mastered the traffic pattern enough, and how to enter it, how to leave it, how to do laps in the traffic pattern, that you could do chair flying in your living room, where you literally walk the upwind. You turn crosswind, literally turning yourself. You make those radio calls and you can chair fly and work yourself through the actual traffic pattern. One thing I want you to understand though is great radio communications at an uncontrolled, pilot-controlled, non-towered airport, whatever of those three phrases we want to use to call it, they're all the same thing. They start on the ground. And I start with making a great radio call leaving the ramp. Now, we were out at the Leadville Airport in Leadville, Colorado, the highest airport in North America. And we're going to use that because it's not only beautiful footage, but some great radio calls for you to see. So let's watch as we depart the ramp.
All right, guys, so radio communications for me really start on the ground, on the ramp, before I taxi. I like to let people know what I'm actually doing. We're at Leadville's Lake County Airport. We're going to be taxiing from the ramp to runway 34. And this is important too because we have to do a little bit of back taxiing. So let's jump on, let's make that radio call starting with the airport. And Leadville Lake County, Diamond Star 153 Delta Sierra. We're at the ramp. We're going to taxi to runway 34 for departure at Leadville Lake County. All right, and let's go ahead now and start that taxi.
So as you can see, it's important to let everybody else know what we're doing. What did I say? I told them we were leaving the ramp, and I told them too that we have to back taxi the runway. That way if somebody else is landing, somebody else is coming in, they know where I'm passing through. They know which taxiway I'm getting off or getting on at. They can see all that. And after we get our run-up complete, it's time to make our departure. It's important to look through final, look down that upwind, because although it's pilot controlled, it is not required to make radio calls. That's why I always like to look before I make that radio call. And let's hear what that radio call sounds like.
Final looks clear. To the upwind looks clear. Making that radio call now. At Leadville Lake County traffic, Diamond Star 153 Delta Sierra departing runway 34 for closed traffic at Leadville Lake County. All right, so we've made our radio call. Notice I announced, guys, I said we're doing closed traffic. I'm just looking to do a lap in the pattern. So all I'm simply doing. Closed traffic is the term to use.
So now that we've departed, we're on the upwind. I usually don't make an upwind radio call. If the traffic pattern is very busy, I will call upwind. But my next call I'm going to make is that I'm turning crosswind. And everything has a structure. You're going to learn as we talk more about landings and how to fly those perfect patterns. We'll talk about when to do all that. But right now we're just learning the structure of these radio calls. So as we approach crosswind, let's hear what that radio call is like.
Always call when I'm making the turn. So I'm turning left crosswind. You'll hear that radio call in just a second. The reason being, it's easier to spot a banking aircraft. And when I say I'm turning left crosswind, they know exactly where to look. At the intersection of the upwind and the crosswind, they know exactly where to look in the traffic pattern. So Jeremy, my friend, I know you got a ways. Whenever you're ready to turn crosswind, holler at me, and I'll make that radio call for you.
We are ready for crosswind, my friend.
All right, let's go ahead and do it. And Leadville Lake County, Diamond Star 153 Delta Sierra, turning left crosswind, runway 34, Leadville Lake County.
So before we know it, it's going to be time to turn downwind. The crosswind to downwind leg is very, very short. So when we go to turn downwind, you're going to start to notice we build this structure. We start with the airport. We tell them what leg we're turning. We tell them who we've built this structure, and you're going to see it follow through this entire traffic pattern as you listen to our downwind radio call.
At Leadville Lake County traffic, Diamond Star 153 Delta Sierra, turning left downwind, runway 34, Leadville Lake County.
Now the downwind is our longest leg. We're going to continue to fly it. Occasionally, you'll hear me maybe call out that I'm midfield left downwind or beam the numbers, beam my landing numbers if the airport is busy, but usually not. but the downwind leg is a very long leg, especially at a long airport where it's over a mile, and it could be a long time without you making a radio call. So sometimes I'll say something, Cessna 1234, midfield, left downwind, runway, whatever, at that airport. Something along those lines to give them. But I'll continue flying until it's time to turn my base, and that call follows that same structure.
Turn at base. And Leadville Lake County traffic, Dinosaur 153 Delta Sierra, turning left base, runway 34. This will be a full stop at Leadville Lake County.
Now our base leg, like our crosswind leg, is usually fairly short. Now on base, we're slowing the airplane down. We've got some flaps, so distance-wise it's the same, but speed-wise we are slowing down as we get ready to turn final. I want you to notice something we did on that base leg and on that final leg. I notified that we're going to be a full stop. Now, why did I do that? Well, if there's other aircraft coming, they need to work on their spacing, right? Because if I'm a full stop, it's going to take me longer to get off the runway than if I was a touch and go. You'll notice we'll do the same thing here, turning final.
And Leadville Lake County traffic, Dinosaur 153 Delta Sierra, turning final, runway 34. This will be a full stop, Leadville Lake County.
And after we make a beautiful landing, wheels are on the ground, we're not done with our radio calls yet. If we're going around again, we'll repeat the process. But when it's time to stop, we need to let other pilots in the area know when we're clear of the runway, because we have the right of way until we clear off that runway. It's important to let other pilots know that, hey, I'm off the runway's yours now, and that radio call sounds like this.
And Leadville Lake County traffic, Dinosaur 153 Delta Sierra, taxiing clear of 34 at Delta, Leadville Lake County.
So there we have it, a quick lap around the traffic pattern. And we'll get into some more advanced stuff, like we talked about in the previous lessons, entering on a 45 to downwind, departing on a 45 to downwind, and working with other aircraft in the traffic pattern and making those negotiations, because it's easy to see a video like that where it's just Jason flying around the traffic pattern. It's another thing when you add the dynamic of another aircraft. And we're going to show more videos like that coming up in the future, but we certainly wanted to plant the seed and build a strong foundation. Here's my challenge to you. I want you to, when you find some time, get up in your living room and walk through the traffic pattern. Make those radio calls with whatever your tail number is, or use one of the many tail numbers, November 23 Mike Zulu, whatever it is that you have here if you don't have an airplane just yet. Use and make those radio calls and work around crosswind, downwind, base, final for whatever runways in your local area, using your local traffic. And practice that, guys. It's one thing to fly the airplane. It's another thing to fly the airplane and talk at the same time. Let's get the talking part down cold on the ground so we can focus on the fun part, which is learning to fly that airplane up in the air.